This week, on TV's Bobby Pastorius and crew travel from West Palm Beach, Florida to Isla Mujeres, Mexico, where pro staffer Jen Pastorius notches up her angling abilities in preparation for the upcoming tournament season. The crew this week will consist of On TV's Captain Joe Drosy, Captain Mark McDevitt, and special guest John Raimondo. The crew's target species is the Atlantic sailfish. With its predatory nature, combined with its acrobatic performances, this promises to make an exciting adventure. This week, on TV's target species is the Atlantic sailfish. With its advanced eyesight, ability to hunt prey, and speeds topping 35 miles per hour, the Atlantic sailfish is one of the most highly sought-after pelagic fish in the world.
Isla Mujeres, just 8 miles off the coast of Cancun, Mexico, is the perfect location for blue water anglers to intercept nutrient-rich currents that flow northward from South America. These fish-filled waters have been a target destination for expert anglers to enjoy for many years. Over recent years, professional angling teams from the U.S. have relocated some of the most prominent battle wagons from the east coast of the United States down to Isla in an effort to keep their tournament teams well practiced throughout the year. One of the things that I think is great about these boats relocating down the Isla is that it opened up an opportunity for the average angler to come down the Isla and partake in this natural phenomenon, and all the while enjoying some of the biggest and nicest sport fishing yachts US has to offer, as well as professional crews to help them acclimate themselves to this unique style of fishing they offer down there. This week we got a call from an old friend down in Isla Mujeres, John Raimondo, who's the proud owner of the Sea Mistress, a 58-foot Carolina Custom that's been around for over a decade. And in that decade, if you're in the tournament circuit, the boat and the fishing team need no introduction. Their most prominent win, a 2001 first place finish in the White Marlin Open out of Ocean City, Maryland, put them on the circuit. Since then, they're no strangers to the leaderboard in tournaments all up and down the East Coast. So when we got this invite, we knew it was going to be an action-filled vacation. We took it as an opportunity to bring along with us our tournament captain, Joe DeRossi, who always provides us the action on the Osprey out of Ocean City, Maryland and West Palm Beach, as well as introduce my new bride, Jennifer Pastorius, into the sport fishing arena as it would pertain to tournament fishing. When you're double dredge fishing and you're looking to fine-tune a tournament team, there's only one thing that's important: high hookup ratio and get the fish released as fast as humanly possible. I knew this was going to create some kind of a challenge for Jen, so the idea of coming down to Mexico where we could potentially catch 10, 15, 20 sailfish a day, give Jen an opportunity to get on the rod, get used to what happens on the boat and around her in the cockpit once a fish is hooked up. It's a total team operation, and the more time you spend with each person on the team, the better your team gets.
This is my first trip to Isla, and to add more pressure to it, I'm the primary angler tomorrow.
Just outside that breaker wall, these guys are laying siege to one of the biggest populations of sailfish known to man. It's a lifelong dream of mine to be able to partake in this excellent, excellent fishery that they have down here. 12 more hours, we're going to be on the high sea. This should be a great episode. The spread we're using today has been tried and true up and down the East Coast as well as all over the world for bill fishing. We'll be using 2 dredges suspended off either side of the boat. The dredges will stay down about 10 to 15 feet. On the surface, right above the dredge, will be 2 daisy chains provided by Moldcraft Lures. And in the spread, 2 flat lines with ballyhoos, 2 outside riggers with ballyhoos. More often than not, the fish will come in the spread and the preferred bait will be one of the ballyhoos. If you happen to miss the fish, you have the outside riggers in there to reel in and engage him with another bait.
On TV is brought to you by Diamond Fishing Products. Our reputation is on the line. And Ocean LED, light years ahead. This week, Bobby Pastorius is joined by pro staffer Jen Pastorius as she tries to solidify her spot on the OnTV tournament team. They're fishing aboard the Sea Mistress in Isla Mujeres, Mexico.
For me, double dredge fishing isn't my preferred method, it's a way of life. The opportunity to see these beautiful creatures come into your spread through the crystal clear cobalt blue water and have your entire team react to what the fish is doing 6-7 feet below the surface, climaxing in the fish coming up to the surface and inhaling the bait which you finessed and presented perfectly in front of him, and then offer a perfect hookup scenario. This will give us the perfect opportunity to let Jen get comfortable with what goes on in the cockpit. And for this particular week, there's no place better to be than this tiny island off the coast of Cancun, smack dab in the middle of Mexico.
There you go. Just got hit.
We rarely have a sequence where we have a marlin or another kind of fish come up and grab our bait and pop our line out of the outrigger without having an opportunity to watch the fish first. That, for me, is the most exciting part, and it's a very challenging part as well. As the fish comes up and takes your ballyhoo, you have to free spool and dump the line, immediately putting a belly in the line so that the fish has an opportunity to come out of its predatory state, lower its fins, turn and swallow the bait that it just ate. As he's swimming off, you could slow down your backdrop, tighten up your drag, and you're gonna put the rod to the side and start reeling. The circle hook will then slide up the throat of the fish and engage itself right in the corner of the mouth, giving you a strong, secure hookup.
And get up.
We were fishing for less than an hour. Then I got the call that we already had our first sailfish.
Ready, baby?
Yeah.
At that point, reel it in like you've reeled in every fish in your life, but with the confidence of knowing you caught that fish with the most ethical and highest level of that fish being able to survive the fight as you possibly could.
Keep going, baby. Wind real fast. Just keep winding. Keep winding. You're doing good.
I could not believe the change in atmosphere. This is nothing like catching fish just for fun. All anyone could think about was getting the fish to the boat as fast as possible.
Nice. Man, I could not be more proud of Jan. Here we are throwing her into a new style of fishing, and she did an absolutely perfect job on that first fish.
Diving down right here. Nice. Nice. Look how pretty that fish is.
One of the biggest adjustments for a new angler anytime they're getting involved in a tournament scenario is that once that fish is hooked up, it becomes the job of everybody on the team to get the boat to the fish as fast as humanly possible.
We fought this fish to the back of the boat and has a bunch of tailers with them. We're immediately deploying a trolling spread, trying to see if we can't get some more multiple hookups. These fish are turning on right now. How you like Isla now?
Awesome.
That's why you come to Mexico. You're sitting there trolling, it feels like every rush other fish, and then all heck breaks loose like that.
And just like that, I had my first Atlantic sailfish with this new style of fishing under my belt.
The crusher on the stick, huh?
For the last couple of years, OnTV has adopted a new style of releasing their billfish, all in an effort to try to keep the mortality rate of these beautiful animals at the minimum we could possibly do. When a fish comes to the surface, it's the climax to the big fight. And everybody has grown accustomed over the past couple of decades of, in the beginning, killing the fish. But over the last couple decades, to pull a fish out of the water and take your trophy pictures has become a norm for a lot of people. At OnTV, we've adopted a new style. Bring the fish in. Once the leader touches the tip of the rod, it's an IGFA catch. Take your pictures of the beautiful animal as he's swimming around, trying to get away from the boat, right on the leader. Cut the leader as close as you can to the fish's mouth and let him swim away without handling him. This is going to minimize your mortality rate on your personal fish caught every year.
Back on the teaser again, Mark. Straight on your bait now.
When a fish comes into your spread, it's a concerto of communication from the captain above, the mates that are watching the spread, and you as the angler.
Sail out for flat line, Bob. Sail out for flat.
You have to predict which rod the fish is going to go to, and then position yourself on that rod perfectly.
It's on your bait, Mark. Back on the teaser again.
Looks like it's Sancocho to me. I'm afraid to bring this in. I think I got short fit too.
Right on there, Bob. Right?
My Spanish isn't that great, but I do know how to pronounce Sancocho.
Turn around up to see. Maybe I get him to bite again.
One of the most popular phrases we learn in the bill fishery in the last 10, 15 years traveling to South America and Central America is Sancocho. It's the identifying feature of if you drop a bait to a fish, it doesn't always work out the way it's supposed to. Sometimes the fish is holding it in its mouth longer than you think, and when you set the drag, it's gonna pull the fish out of its mouth without engaging the circle hook, which would obviously already be in front of the corner of the mouth. What you normally end up with is a ballyhoo head, and that head has been affectionately nicknamed Sancocho.
Coming down the middle.
Jen, get your belt on.
One of the ways professional teams have perfected the art of getting multiple hookups on these billfish is that once the first fish is secured, the captain will immediately put the boat into a turn that would pull the hooked fish off to the side of the boat, enabling the spread to still be straight out the back. We were able to, in this sequence, hook a fish off the left-hand flat, have him secured, hand the rod off to Jen, Mark popped the right-hand flat line, and was able to secure a second fish, giving us our first double header of the trip.
What's that? Nice, Mark. No, he got it, he got it, he got it. Nice. Good hookup, Mark. That's right. Way to stick with it. This is an amazing fishery down here. A lot of boats like the Sea Mistress, they come down in January and they enjoy this incredible bite in January and February.
With two fish on, it was a totally different ballgame. It was hard to tell whether the boat was going after my fish or Mark's, so I just concentrated on keeping my line tight.
One of the reasons we fish for the Atlantic sailfish is their acrobatic nature once they're hooked. Reaching speeds upwards of 35 miles an hour, these fish with an average weight of 40 to 60 pounds could be quite the challenge when you're hooking them on the light tackle we're using today. 20-pound test, light rod, no roller tips have been the preferred tackle of anglers all over the world that enjoy this beautiful fish.
Once the leader gets wound on a rod, that's considered a legitimate catch. And Mark just caught himself another one. Good job, Captain Mark.
Reeling in two fish at once is way different. My fish took a run and got a little further from the boat than Mark's. So Captain Joe went after his fish first and stretched my fish far from the boat.
Jen's got her fish fighting away. She's been doing a great job on this trip. 100% brought to the boat and released.
After Mark's fish was released, we repositioned the boat, and within moments, mine had been released too, and I was part of my first double header.
Nice.
Going,
girlfriend.
Great work, buddy. Nice going.
Well, final numbers on day number one. 11 sailfish caught by Team OnTV down in Isla, 10 of which was brought in by pro staffer Jen Pastorius, all by herself. She did an excellent job today. She's a little tired, but already asking about what time we're leaving the dock on day number two.
OnTV is brought to you by Roff's, Ruffer's Ocean Fishing Forecast Service, and Hopkins Carter, what you need at the price you want since 1916. OnTV is brought to you by Spooled Up Sport Fishing, twice the line in half the time, and Heartland Gold, one of the nation's leading marine life jewelers. Trying to solidify her spot on the OnTV tournament team, pro staffer Jen Pastorius caught 10 Atlantic sailfish on her first day of fishing aboard the Sea Mistress.
I had the time of my life on day one, but I have to admit I'm a little nervous to have John on the boat with us today.
Day two brought a very short ride to the fishing grounds. We took advantage of that opportunity to get reacquainted with John, hear a little bit about his way of establishing himself on Isla Mujeres. Through foundations and charities, John has become a pinnacle on this island.
Man, running to a new spot here. Captain stopped us a little bit early. There's boats hooked up all around us. Saw one boat with a double header just off of our right-hand side here. This boat here just dropped the lines back in. He was hooked up when we stopped. It's going to be on here in a few minutes.
We weren't trolling very long before we had our first encounter with Atlantic sailfish.
Jen's on her first sail of the day.
I was a lot more confident than I thought I would be on day 2. The second I heard there was a fish in the spread, I was ready with my belt on.
Sailfish bird. Maybe. Tell you the different formations of these birds diving in the water. These guys are onto it. Calling it out from quarter mile away, all their porpoise or bonitas. They're dead on the money. Jumping. See you, boy. Gonna have my man Juan here back me up, cut this fish off, and we're gonna get to it, see if we can't stack up some numbers today. That one's lit up. Great release. Great fish, Jen. Just made short work of that one.
Day 2 started off with a bang, and I was surprised to find Jen following along with what was going on throughout the hookup sequence, but not one of us had any idea what was going to happen when we got the lines back in the water.
We got the dredges in the water, a daisy chain above them. We got 4 in our spread right now. It's time to go to work. Nice, nice. Jumping Johnny on with another one. One just ate me out the back. Double header on the Sea Mistress.
The fish on the left flat. He's on you, Juan. Dump it, Juan.
Triple header. Triple. Get your belt on, babe.
A big similarity with all smaller billfish, whether it's a white marlin, an Atlantic sail, or Pacific sails, is the way they act as a predator. These fish hunt in packs. It's not uncommon to see 2 to 5 fish come up in your spread at the same time. That's why multiple hookups are not only an occasional occurrence, they're the norm when you get in situations like this, when there's a reason for large quantities of these billfish to be concentrated in small areas.
It's exactly what you come down to Isla Mujeres for, man. This is great. John, I cannot thank you enough, buddy.
Let's catch him.
Right on. Woo! This is wild. Jumping out the back.
I really didn't see a major difference. Catching 2 and 3 fish at a time, I was just focusing on what I was doing and waiting for Captain Joe to tell me that he was ready to go after my fish. When it came time to go after my fish, Captain Joe backed down in full tournament fashion.
Coming in.
I was completely soaked as water was flying over the transom.
There, I see the leader. Step back and let Mark have it. Nice, good fish, babe. Nice. Woo! Triple header. John, come down here. We'd like to thank you, man.
Sorry about the...
I cannot thank you enough. That's exactly what you explained to us. Jen, good fish, girl. All right.
That was fun.
Yeah. Holy cow, they were all over the place.
Let's do it again.
Nice.
OnTV is brought to you by Tigress. Tigress quality, accept no imitations. And Midshore Electronics, a leader in the sales, service, and installation of marine electronics on the East Coast. OnTV is brought to you by Frigid Rigid, the only ice chest you'll ever need unless one is not enough. And Turner Realty, servicing the state of Florida realty needs for 85 years.
We ended the trip in perfect fashion. The sun going down, Jumpin' Johnny, tightened up with the exact fish that brought him to Isla in the beginning. Watching the enjoyment on this guy's face made the whole trip worthwhile for us, and we really appreciated all the generosity he offered to us in inviting us down.
John, I'll tell you one thing. You referred to this place as paradise earlier. It's not hard to figure out why, buddy. This is happening. I don't know if you guys heard that. John narrowed down all the ingredients to paradise. The sun, Beautiful water. Doesn't hurt to have a billfish jumping right in between too. Woo, little jump! Woo! Look at that go. Whoa! Nice.
Gotta save the captain.
Woo! Let him swim another day. John, great job.
Let him jump.
Nice.
Well, that brings the end of day number 2 aboard the Sea Mistress. 17 sailfish, 8 of which both Jumpin' John and myself were able to bring to the back of the boat, and 9 more added to the total of pro staff Jen Pastorius, bringing her 2-day total to a whopping 19 Atlantic sailfish.
This is the most special place I've ever been for bill fishing, and I, for one, cannot wait to come back.
We'd like to thank John Raimondo and his family for inviting us down and letting us share this awesome fishery. We can never repay you for all the generosity you've showed us over the years. Keep on fishing, and we look forward to seeing you up north this summer.
We hope you enjoyed watching this week's episode of On TV. Please join us next week as the On TV crew and host Bobby Pastorius continue their pursuit of the outdoors in West Palm Beach as Jen Pastorius tries to make it to the next level and hook her own Atlantic sailfish aboard Rhonda's Osprey.